All right, President Trump has been in office for only 6 weeks, but he continues to rack up win after win after win, adding 2 more major victories today. According to a Reuters report, Honda will now produce the next Civic in Indiana instead of Mexico over the issue of Donald Trump's tariffs. That's a win. And earlier today, President Trump announced a $100 billion investment in the U.S. from a Taiwanese semiconductor chip giant called TSMC. This on the heels of Nissan deciding to build their plant in the U.S. instead of the original plant in Mexico. And, of course, Apple's $500 billion 4-year commitment to build a massive plant in Texas that will create tens and tens of thousands of high-paying jobs. Meanwhile, President Trump is set to deliver his address to Congress tomorrow night, the theme of which Fox News has now learned will be the renewal of the American dream. Here now, with our Hannity Washington briefing, our very own White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt. How are you? It's great to see you.
It's great to see you in person, Sean.
I know.
Thanks for having me.
The only good reason to be to the swamp is to see you, JD, and Pam. That's about it. And the president, when I do get to see him as well. This is major news. I know everyone wants to talk about tariffs, bad, bad, bad. No, why don't people understand the president is a never-ending negotiator?
Mm-hmm. He's a never-ending negotiator. It's the art of the deal. But also, the president has proven, as he did in his first terms, that tariffs can bring good-paying jobs back here to the United States of America. They protect critical industries here at home. And President Trump is serious when he says he wants to make America the manufacturing superpower of the world. And we have the ability to do it. We have the best resources and the best people. But unfortunately, we've been ruled by a political class that has sold us out for far too long. And we've allowed other nations around the world to rip us off. So your audience should be aware that tonight, 12:01 a.m., tariffs on Mexico and China are going into effect, and another 10% on China, 25% on Mexico, 25% on Canada. And the reason is because we cannot continue to allow fentanyl to pour into our country and kill our people. I bet you every single person watching your show tonight knows somebody who has died at the hands of Chinese fentanyl that has come through our northern or southern border. And one American life is one too many. And these tariffs are necessary to continue to put the pressure on these countries to secure our borders.
Did you see this as a big movement by Mexico to allow us to, by handing over some of these cartel leaders? Is that their way of saying, please don't put the tariffs on us? And the president saying, no, you got to do everything I want.
We have certainly seen an increase of cooperation from Mexico and also from Canada. But over the past 4 years under the previous administration, they allowed thousands of pounds of Chinese produced fentanyl into our country. Last year alone, through the southern border, 4.8 billion people could have died for the amount of fentanyl that came through our borders. At the northern border, there was enough fentanyl to kill 9.8 million people. That's up 2,050% since 2023, the year prior. 2,050% increase. These countries have to be held accountable for that. Fentanyl is the leading cause of death in this country from ages 18 to 34. And if you talk to the families and the parents who have lost their children at the hands of this deadly poison, they will tell you they are grateful for the president finally taking strong action to end this epidemic and this crisis in our country.
You were in the room when President Zelensky was there on Friday. What was your take?
It was my take that President Zelensky, unfortunately, was ungrateful to the American taxpayer. And frankly, putting aside my job as President Trump's spokeswoman, as an American citizen, it was incredibly profound to watch our president actually stand up for us, for the tax-paying American law-abiding citizen who is sick and tired of seeing hundreds of billions of dollars go out the door every single year when we have real problems in our country here. And President Trump wants to end this war. He campaigned on this. He talked about it at every single rally across the country. And unfortunately, President Zelensky is not in the mindset to negotiate peace. And I think, frankly, it was incredibly refreshing to watch the president and the vice president stand up for America and to have that be before the world to see. The world was able to finally watch what President Trump and his team have been dealing with behind closed doors, which is a hard-headedness, unfortunately, from President Zelensky and the Ukrainians in negotiating a true peace deal with Russia.
You're the youngest White House press secretary in history.
I am.
I watch you mostly without any notes at all. And the ease with which you deal with some people that we both know are pretty hostile towards President Trump, and you do it with a smile and ease. Were you always that at ease with public speaking, which happens to be most people's #1 fear?
Well, I do think God gives everybody unique gifts and skills, and I guess public speaking is one of mine.
You gave me a big mouth.
But I do work for a great boss who makes my job quite easy because he says something and he does it. So there's no spin. It's all truth. We have the facts on our side, you know, in explaining these tariffs, right? Most people would run away from that argument, but we have the truth and the statistics and the facts on our side, and everything the president does is backed by...
They're putting tariffs on us.
Right. What's right for the American public.
The president, it seems like, almost on a daily basis, is giving more access in 6 weeks than Joe Biden has given in 4 years.
No doubt.
I mean, is there any level of appreciation from the media? Do they not now know that they were shut out?
They'll tell you off the record if you talk to them.
Off the record.
They may not admit it on television because it doesn't fit their brand.
Oh, I want to know what they tell you off the record. You don't have to mention names.
Yeah, they'll tell you off the record that they greatly appreciate the access that they have been given to the President of the United States. They are able to ask him questions every single day on an array of topics, whatever is on their mind. Even today, the president announced a major investment in America, $100 billion from a Taiwanese chip company. You just mentioned it. More jobs coming back home. And then he opened it up to questions. He took questions on the announcement today, but he also took questions on the news of the day, on Ukraine and on tariffs and other topics as well.
Just like, unlike Joe, who's let me call on AP and
we don't tell President Trump who to take questions from.
No, I don't.
And even if we tried, he wouldn't listen.
Caroline, our White House briefing. We appreciate you always coming in. Thank you.
Great to see you, Sean. Thanks for having me.